Today's mission is to try and sway Lucy on seeing if she'll ever own a Volvo. I'm sure I've offended some people in my opinions today. Hello, I'm here. Can you see my hand in here? It's like some sort of resurrection coming out the front of the car. The worst turning circle I've ever experienced on a car. So I don't know what I'm expecting here. Oh goodness me, wheel spin, there you go. Windier than I thought it was going to be. Oh my god, I'm tripping over. What is happening? We've come up this lovely hill to start this video and I don't even know if you're going to hear me. We seem to be experiencing some incredibly high speed winds right now. The clouds are moving like they're on fast forward. But anyway, welcome back to another Lucy on Cars. This is not a weather report, even though it may seem that way. We're going to get onto the car in a minute, but today's review is on this behind me, which is a 2011 Volvo V70. It's a 2.4 litre twin turbo diesel engine, the D5 model. We're going to head back in the car quickly to talk about this because I don't think you can even hear me right now. So goodness me. So you may be wondering, why are you sat in a Volvo V70? What's happened? Now there's a bit of a backstory to this, so take a seat, get comfortable, and I shall begin. We were watching Joel's videos recently. It's Joel on YouTube, big fan of his videos, and he's been doing a lot of work recently on a Volvo XC90 and talking about how much he loves driving the thing. And it made me think, I've never actually driven a Volvo. And then I thought, hang on a minute, George's dad owns a Volvo. Why don't I do a video on that? And I've heard some very good things about these cars for lots of different reasons. I've been saying recently in my videos how I really enjoy driving cars from this kind of year because they were a lot more expensive new, but they've come down a lot in price. You can pick one of these up depending on mileage for between sort of £4,000 and £7,000 at the moment on Auto Trader, and it's quite a lot of car for the money. So no, it's not something that I'm usually used to driving or that I particularly want to own myself at this point in time. However, it's a car that I can really appreciate, and I thought I'd do a review on one today. So here's the thing, Volvos have never excited me that much. I'm going to see today if it's something I would consider in the future. They get a lot of hype over how comfortable they are, how reliable they are, and how much car you can get for your money. In my opinion, they're kind of lower than, say, BMW, Audi, Mercedes kind of range, but they're higher up than a lot of the other manufacturers. They're kind of that in the middle point. I've heard a lot of good things. I know there's a real fan base for Volvos in general, and I've literally not ever driven one. So I've insured myself on the car today. The insurance only just started, so George drove this car up the hill. I've literally never driven it, so we're going to take the first drive together in a second and experience it together for the first time. So yes, today's mission is to try and sway Lucy on seeing if she'll ever own a Volvo. And right now, I mean, I don't even want to drive the thing. This is the comfiest seat I've ever sat in. It's like I'm sat in an armchair. I could fall asleep here right now, up this hill, wake up in the morning. I don't know if it's because it's from 2011 and it's had a lot of wear, but I don't know. This is a very comfortable seat. It's hugging me just the right amount. And actually on that, there's hardly any wear on this leather. It's 146,000 miles on the clock, and it's in an incredibly good condition. Even on the doors here, like the stitching's still perfect. It's a tiny bit grubby in some places. It's a lighter leather, it shows a little bit more, but really it's in very, very good nick. And the Volvo on the Volvo badge blue has become slightly less blue over the years, as you can see. But honestly, I'm looking around thinking this does not feel like a car from 2011 at all. But anyways, let's hit the road, let's go for a little drive and test this thing out. We are working with 205 brake horsepower, 420 Newton meters of torque, and a 0 to 60 time of 8 seconds. So fairly powerful 2.4 litre twin turbo diesel engine, as I said earlier. Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a go. It's quite a big car, quite a heavy car, so I don't know what I'm expecting here, but we've got some beautiful roads here to give it a go. So like I said, it's an automatic gearbox with the option of a little manual sporty mode on the left just here. And I have to say, the gear lever feels quite utilitarian. It's got a very sort of resistant clunk to it when you pull it back into gear. It's not something that sort of floats back too easily. It's a nice feeling going backwards, actually. There's an electric handbrake on the right side of the steering wheel just here that I'm just going to release. Pull to release, push to lock. A little bit of off-roading here to begin with. We're up in some nice country roads today. Oh, goodness me, wheel spin, there you go. First drive in a Volvo and we get a wheel spin to start. Okay, nice cows on the right there. Very British countryside right now. I'm feeling like I'm a British gentleman driving through the countryside with cows on my right. So, first impressions are that I'm actually not really thinking about anything. As in, it seems like it's a very easy car to drive. I did notice a little bit of turbo lag just then when I put my foot down, and obviously I haven't really tried out the accelerator too much yet, but so far I'm feeling like it's a very smooth ride, a very comfortable ride. The brakes are feeling a little bit spongy. I mean, comparing it to the BMW that we drive every single day, where the brakes are incredibly sharp, it feels fairly spongy. But let's throw it into this corner a little bit and see how we go. Pretty good handling. The steering's very light actually. It's not struggling up this hill at all. Okay, it's just started raining, so that's definitely going to test the handling on this as we go around these corners, but I'm actually surprised at how light it feels. It definitely feels very light for the size of this car. I think I was expecting something that, I mean, recently I was driving the Audi S5, and a lot of you guys really enjoyed that video, so thanks so much if you've already checked that one out. And that was very heavy. It felt very heavy on the road, heavy steering, really solidly planted down. This feels a lot lighter. The steering's very light, and I'm feeling a bit like up and downy, and everything's a bit more spongy. So let's talk about the interior of this thing for a second. The steering wheel is very comfortable. It's quite a big steering wheel. It feels almost bus-like. And I'm not gonna lie, the turning circle is pretty much the worst turning circle I've ever experienced on a car. That is one of the downsides. Having a steering wheel this big on a car that's got a bad turning circle feels kind of ironic. Really nice, clean interior. It's quite simplistic and easy to use. It's not overcomplicated at all. The buttons do what they say they're gonna do. It makes a lot of sense. If you're someone that doesn't quite know much about the interior of cars and what buttons do, this probably is quite a good car to go for, because I mean, some cars these days feel like you're getting into like a spaceship and you've got to learn how to use it, you've got to read the manual. I don't think we need any manuals in this car. I touched on it before, but the seats are incredibly comfortable and the leather is very, very soft. They've got a memory function as well, electric seats with a memory function, which is always a must-have, and I know I complain about this in every video, but our BMW 2021 model didn't come with electric seats, which is just horrendous. So it's always nice to see that in a car. Something else which is a bit odd in this car is this screen that pops out of the dashboard. I don't think it's ever been needed to have a screen that sort of lifts up, like some sort of resurrection coming out the front of the car. And the most irritating part of all of it is that actually the control to knock this up is on the steering wheel. So it has been known that you're just driving around and the resurrection starts happening in front of you and you think, I didn't even touch that, but it's just something you can knock by accident. It takes ages to come up, even longer to go back down, and just overall it's a little bit irritating. So let's show you that right now. And also, why is it who's sitting? Is a driver meant to be sitting down here? Why is it facing this way? Hello, I'm here. Shouldn't it be facing me here? It's just not very user friendly. I don't really understand it. Oh. I do. Oh. There we go. After about 20 minutes of fiddling with the knob, it's managed to go back down. But anyway, enough negatives. There are an incredible amount of positives in this car as well. I think it's aged pretty well. It's not obviously the most modern looking thing you've ever seen, but it doesn't look particularly old. Quite like the sort of silver rims on the knobs just here. Like I said before, it's fairly well laid out and it all makes quite a lot of sense. They've not overcomplicated anything at all here. You've got 2 heated front seats, obviously air conditioning, you've got radio, questionable navigation system, but you have got navigation technically. The box has been ticked, and this car does have in fact Bluetooth, but not to play any music from, just to connect your phone to call people. If you do want to play your own music, we've got to get the old-fashioned auxiliary cable out and plug it into your phone if you have a headphone jack, which I do not in mine, so good luck with that. In the back we have got rear heated seats as well, which is definitely a nice luxurious feature of this car, and it has got tinted windows as well, which is nice. Okay, so please bear with us on the wind noise. If it's peaking a little bit in this video, we are going to get some microphones soon that clip on so that you can hear me wherever I am. But right now, please bear with me. In terms of this car from the outside, I think it's a fairly good looking car. Obviously it's an estate, meaning we've got a huge amount of space in the back. I can't film with my head like this, are you kidding me?
Go the other side.
Go the other side? What, with a field in the background? Hello everyone, come and talk about a car with no car in shot at all. Got pretty good looking lights at the front, and then the iconic Volvo badge, which is pretty large, I have to say. It looks fairly sporty with the lines going up the bonnet. It's got a deceptively large amount of space inside it. I think from the outside it doesn't look like it's going to have much space. It looks fairly average, but honestly, I mean, when we renovated our house, this is a car we used to go to the tip pretty much every day, and you'd be honestly so surprised at how much we fit in this. We also moved house without a removals van. We use this and the classic Range Rover that we just got rid of. Sad times. Something coming soon with that, stay tuned. It's what we needed to remove all our boxes for a few runs from one house to the other. We've got 18-inch alloy wheels, and they've got a kind of two-tone colour, so we've got the light silver colour here and then the grey. The only thing I will say, being the 18-inch alloys, is a harder ride than you'd expect, and there's a fair amount of road noise when you're actually driving it, but I think they're pretty good looking wheels. And if there's one thing that Volvos are known for, it's a ginormous rear end, and let's just say we've got a very generous boot here. With the seats flat, we've got a 1600 litre boot capacity. So like I said, we've used this many times and fit a lot into this boot. It's got the electric tailgate as well, which is always nice, and it definitely feels more like a modern car, a more luxury car. I've just noticed here the floating dash. So if you've got kids, you're going to know what I'm going to say. The parents can pass snacks to each other without the children finding out. Look, can you see my hand in here? Oh, what's in here? Polos. Love it. We're not quite onto Werther's Originals yet, but we're definitely in the polo generation. My mum always has polos as well. It must be our parents' age kind of thing.
Nice.
If I'm being honest with you, as someone who really enjoys driving cars, I can't tell if I'm loving the drive of this, to be honest. And I didn't expect to come on here and say this today. I feel like I can appreciate what a Volvo is more, and I think there's a nice amount of power, 2.4 litres, twin turbo. It's definitely got a lot of pull. I was being pulled up that hill really nicely. Obviously it's front wheel drive as well. I'm quite used to driving a lot more rear wheel and 4x4s, but it's not really exciting me that much. I was hoping I'd say that I'd kind of get the hype a little bit more after this video, but it's fine to drive. It's pleasant, it's easy, it's smooth, it feels safe, it's got the things that you'd want inside it, but I'm not particularly thrilled. And I guess that is right. Volvos aren't meant to be drivers' cars. They're not like a BMW, where it's like BMW's slogan is the ultimate driving machine, and that's exactly what you get. But with this, it's a car that gets you from A to B in a safe way. It's got a lot of space, it's very practical, but it's not making me that excited. I mean, the Range Rover I absolutely loved driving, but for a very different reason. It wasn't like a driver's car in the sense where you could like stick it to the floor when you go around a roundabout like you can in the BMW, but that ticked another box for me. That made me excited because of other things. This, I'm struggling to find the thrill factor and the part of me that would make me want to own one. But if you are a family who need a bit more space, extra space for the kids. Whoa. Oh, we've got a flood here. Ooh. If you are a family that need a bit more space for your car seats, for buggies, you want to go on lots of family road trips and have space in the boot and have a car that's reliable and isn't going to break down on you all the time, that's fairly reasonable to maintain, the parts aren't too expensive, they're easy to get a hold of, you can pick one up for fairly cheap. If you're doing lots of long distances, it's pretty good for that. The MPG right now I think is about 26.4 as an average. But I know that when, oh gosh, there's a big delay there. I was expecting just to, there you go, when it's up in the higher revs it definitely picks up speed better, but honestly there wasn't much going on when I put my foot down there. I think I thought I had more time than I had because I was used to driving a quicker car pulling out there. But yeah, if those are the things you kind of want, then I think this could be the perfect car for you. It's quite thirsty around town. It definitely drinks up the fuel quite badly there, but when you take it for longer runs, you can get a much higher MPG out of it. So I think it depends what you're using it for. This car could definitely tick the boxes for a lot of people, but I don't think it's ticking mine. I'm sure I've offended some people in my opinions today, but as I always say, I like to be brutally honest with my reviews and give you my exact feeling and experience of driving the car. Like I said, I can totally see why someone would want and need one of these, and I have enjoyed driving it today in that respect. However, it's not a car that I think I will own anytime soon. So there's definitely pros and cons for the Volvo V70 for me. I'd be very interested to try driving a brand new Volvo to see what that's like. For me, if it was my money, if I had like 4 to 7 grand, I'd be looking at like what Range Rover I could get for that, or even the Audi that I just drove was so much fun. But I guess not everyone is trying to find a car that's like a V8, or they want a car that if it breaks down it's not going to cost 2 grand in repairs, it might be 300, 400 pounds because the parts are a lot cheaper. So I can totally see the appeal in one of these. I think I'm just a bit crazy and weird, and I like things that are expensive when they go wrong, it seems. Just a certain taste I have. I have to remember, for most people 15 miles per gallon is not normal, and not everyone wants to be driving around in a 400 horsepower V8, but I do, I'm sorry, I do. I can't imagine motoring and not feeling anxious all the time if you break down, what's going to happen next. I can't imagine going out and hoping that you won't break down and getting home and feeling relieved that you didn't. Saying something like this, you would have the confidence, but I'm just not used to that. This is far too reliable for me. Way too reliable. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode of Lucy on Cars. I hope you enjoyed it today. We've got lots more cars coming soon on the channel, and there is some more Range Rover news coming very soon. It was meant to be a bit sooner, but there's been a little delay in something. But very early on in the new year, something's coming. Watch this space. And if you have got a cool car that you'd like me to drive, then please send me an email on the screen right now, and I might be able to make that happen, especially if you're local to the area, because I've had some really awesome offers of cars recently of people that live very far away from me, and I mean, we've got a little one, it's hard getting childcare, so something more local would be amazing. But anyway, even if you're not local, email me or see if we can make something work. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you very soon in the next Lucy on Cars. Goodbye.